Hi, I'm Cliff Hall, creator of Plotrocket, a series planner and episode outliner. I'm going to give you a brief overview of its functionality today. So when you go to create a series, you need a little bit of information, a title, a genre, a tone, log line, basically all that information you're going to see on the series card on your streaming service that will hopefully convince you to press play and begin watching the show. And we also set a seasons goal. How many seasons are there going to be? That's going to give us some help when we're plotting arcs later on. We'll see how that goes. But once you've got your series card set up, you can begin world building. And what's that process like? Well, first, you've got a precinct. We know that the series Friends took place in New York City in the early 90s. We could describe that a little bit more in detail if we wanted to, but that's not really necessary. Your show, you may have plenty of ideas about the world that it's going to take place in, where most of the scenes are going to appear, and you can describe that here. And then we have characters, settings, and lore. These are the main elements of the world building. We've got a character here, Rachel Green, the main character. We could describe her personality according to a personality type system, the Enneagram, or Myers-Briggs. So if you're the type who likes to use personality types, this is your field. We also keep track of some other information about the character that's good to know, their backstory, physical appearance, goals, flaws, strengths, peeves, their tensions with other characters, their attractions to other characters, and we can also see the arcs that this character participates in. Settings. We remember Central Perk, the coffee shop where the gang met up quite often. We also had the home base apartment, Monica and Rachel's apartments. Joey and Chandler lived next door. These are some common settings that we saw all the time. And then lore. Lore is things that are happening in your show, and they can be ideas of any sort that help us to get a better idea of that world. And we have this view here, this tile view, where when we're world building, that we can see. It's not all characters and forms. That could be a little bit of drudgery. And when we're trying to just blue sky things, we might want to think of characters and settings and lore, and not fill out lots of forms, just be able to see how they all fit into the big picture here. And so we can create a new character. And we could add them in here. We could drag them out here and create some new lore. And then we've got this piece of lore, and we can move it around, put it wherever we want. On the tile wall, I like to leave foundational things about the show down here at the bottom, and more detail as the episodes go on. As you get new ideas for lore, you can throw them into here. And it's very easy to just add something here and then move on and get an idea. Some of that lore, for instance, the Ross and Rachel roller coaster. We know that Ross and Rachel had an on again, off again relationship over the course of the show. That was a thing. It can be identified here pretty easily as a piece of lore, the characters that are associated with it. There could be specific settings associated with the lore. We can see the arcs that lore is referenced by. And so that's world building. And once you have some of this stuff, you're wanting to think about how to expand that out into story now. And the natural next place is arcs. We've got this idea that we're going to have these two characters that are going to have this kind of a roller coaster of a relationship. And we can go from there to plotting it as an arc, and create an arc associated with that particular piece of lore. And we see what characters and settings, and an arc can be fed by multiple pieces of lore. And there can be different kinds of arcs: character arcs, relationship arcs, arcs about the world, thematic arcs. Anything that can change over time can be an arc. And the thing about an arc is that it has some beats associated with it. So you're starting to go, okay, well, I've got this Ross and Rachel roller coaster arc, and how does that play out over time? Well, here are the beats for that arc across the seasons. And we have a way of viewing an arc, plotting it on a graph as a real arc. So we can see that there's a horizontal axis that represents the seasons, and a vertical axis that is fortune. So anything above the zero line is positive, anything below is negative. So we can see how that roller coaster really played out, the ups and downs, the vicissitudes of character story across this whole uh, series. So you can move these beats around wherever you'd like, and now you have a little bit more of an idea that whole thing that was just a piece of lore is now something that we can see is going to play out over time, and that's wonderful. But how does that get us closer to an outline? Well, once we have enough story stuff, we've got characters and lore and settings, and we've got some arcs, and we're ready to start telling a story. Well, every episodic story is starting with some seasons. We're going to create a season to contain our pilot, and think about how many episodes that season might have. Brief summary of what might be in it. And we might not, we're going to create a pilot. We might only be interested in creating that pilot. We don't know how the rest of the series is going to go. So this could just be a placeholder for now. But if you have an idea of what that first season is going to be, you can describe it here. And it's good to identify the inciting incident and climax. What's the big bang that kicks that season off, and what are we building toward at the end? So whenever we're creating arcs across a season or within episodes, the plot lines of an episode, we're able to do that within the context of the series, and we can think about how the beats of a particular arc are helping to build toward the season climax and grow out of the inciting incident of the season. So a season has episodes, and we've outlined the pilot here, the one where Monica gets a roommate. And we've got a brief summary of what's going to be in there, and we've set a goal for how many scenes there might be. And then we can see that the episode has plot lines, little arcs within the show that cross the acts of that episode. We've got an A story, a B story, a C story, as typical, and we've got another plot line here that's capturing all the establishing beats for the other characters. We've got a bunch of characters here, and we've got a pilot that needs to get us acquainted with all of them, and we're going to tell three stories about three of the main characters, and then we're also going to have some establishing beats that are going to kind of tell us who those other characters are within the friend group, and what their personalities are like, so that later on when we start telling stories about them, we have some context there. And this first plot line Rachel's new beginning. She has always been handed everything on a plate, and she has decided to run away from it all. She's left her husband or potential husband at the altar, and she's going to tear up her credit cards from her dad and try to set out on her own. And that's the story that we're going to tell in the A story. The B story, Monica's dating life. She's got a bit of a dumpster fire for her dating life, and we're going to tell a little bit of story that's indicative of that in this first episode. And then Ross's heartbreak and hope. Ross is his wife has just left him, and but we find that he has always kindled this flame for Rachel, and we get a little bit of hope there, kicking off that whole Ross and Rachel roller coaster from the first episode. And these plot lines, they have arcs associated with them as well. And we can see how those all play out within the acts of the episode. So how do all these arcs get us any closer to an outline? Arcs and beats are one thing, but an outline is going to be acts and scenes and beats. So we have to blend these storylines across the acts, and that's done over here in the blend view. You can see that each of the plot lines that we've identified for this first episode are represented here, and their beats are here. And we can see where they fall within the acts of the show. And you can see these little color-coded dots assigned to each plot. And you can see that the episodes and the scenes, a scene or a beat within a scene can advance multiple plot lines, and we can see that here. For instance, this first scene has beats that are about this B story, Monica's dating life, as well as some beats from the establishing beats for other characters. And so the goal then is to take these arcs and their beats and turn them into the scenes of the acts. And when you have these beats, they've already been placed, but if they hadn't been, you can drag them out and place them wherever you want to on the acts and rearrange them and so forth. And so that's the blending process. We can see then just from the colors associated with these scenes that we have blended the plot lines together across these acts. And so we've got all of these index cards and forms, and we've got these special views. We can also quickly move around in the map view and see any part of the show, down to any beat of any scene, of any act, of any episode, of any season in the series. This is kind of like taking the subway. You can get anywhere you need very quickly. So we've got all these views on this data, but how does this get us any closer to an outline? Well, all the time that you've been creating all this information, you have unknowingly been creating your episode outline and series Bible. So when we look at the episode outline, you can print this off to a PDF, but you can interact with it here and view it at any time. And the episode outline is, you can navigate around inside of it very quickly, get to any different part of it. And we can see we've got the summary of the episode. We've got the plot lines that are being played out here. And we see how the beats of a plot line or an arc are shown. We have this beat is in Act 1, Fortune is -7, so that's a low note. Rachel enters in her wedding dress seeking help. She's just left her husband at the altar. And so that's kind of a low point. But a little bit later, Rachel self affirms that she doesn't love Barry anyway. That's kind of a high point for her, also in Act 1. And we can see how that plot line plays out, how each of those plot lines are going to play out. And then we get to the three successively more detailed views of the episode. We've got act by act. We can get this high level overview. Act 1, what kind of an act is it? What's going to happen? Basically, Act 2, Act 3, and that's the very quick elevator pitch for how that episode is going to play out. And then we get down to the scenes view, and we're going to see each scene that is going to appear in the episode by act. So Act 1, Scene 1, we see this is interior Central Park day. Monica and friends discuss their dating life. And then Scene 2, Scene 3, and so on and so forth. So a little more detailed, but we can kind of see, okay, that's all the scenes that are going to take place. Of course, there's no action or dialogue in here. This is just an outline. This is what we want to have before we go and write the script and get into doing all that. But the more detailed view, the most detailed view, the one that when this section is complete and you know that it's complete, then you're ready to go off and write your script. And it contains every scene, every beat of every scene. So Scene 1 has a couple of beats in it. Monica describes the guy she's going out with. Her friends are quizzing her. Quickly establishes Chandler as the joker of the bunch. He tells a joke about an embarrassing dream that gives us a little bit of insight into his brand of humor, and so forth. So Act 1, Scene 2, Beat 1, we go on. It's a little bit later. Ross explains his wife has left him, and so forth. And we get through there beat by beat by beat. And we have, by the end of this, every moment that is important for us to have in the outline, so that when we get to writing a script, we know exactly what beats we need to hit in that scene. There may be more, there may be less once we're actually doing that writing, but we know that this is the skeleton of it. These are the key parts. And this is the goal of Plotrocket. This is what we're shooting for the entire time. And this view is continually updated as we go about creating and deleting and moving things around in these cards and forms and different views, our tile view and our arcs and our blending view, all just help us to take these disparate pieces of information and put them into context and order them in such a way that they tell the story as if it was supposed to be that way from the beginning. There's a whole lot of work that goes into making that happen. And this is a tool that lets you take those ideas that come to you as they come to you and put them into the right context. Is this an idea about a character trait? Is this an idea that's a beat that's going to be on an arc? Somewhere in season 3, we're going to want to have something happen. You have a place to put that information. And like index cards, they're easy to create and they're easy to throw away. So if you're creating some stuff, you can throw it in here and just any idea is a good idea. And as you decide, oh, okay, well, the story is more like this, then it becomes obvious which parts aren't good, and you can easily just get rid of them and create more. So the outline is always waiting for you, and also the season Bible, or the series Bible. Series Bible, similar to the outline, you can bounce around inside of it very easily to get to all the bits and bobs. We've got the series information, the precinct information. We've got characters. We've got settings. We've got lore. All the arcs that are not plot lines within episodes, but all the arcs that extend across uh, seasons or episodes are shown here. The Ross and Rachel roller coaster, which we saw earlier, you can see all the beats of it and how they play out here, just like the plot lines. And you see the seasons and uh, their summaries and inciting incident and climactic moment and so forth. So this is the big compilation of information that lies outside of the episode outlines that is important for us to carry forward as we develop the series. And that's it. That's the goal of Plotrocket is a series Bible and outline for every episode of your series, and a way to get there quickly and to be able to move around within the whole structure and get to any piece very quickly. And so I hope you enjoy that and try it. See if you like it.